What's up, A to Z Sports Live on a Wednesday. Even when Easton is not on the show, he's still making us late. JT and I have been sitting here for 9 minutes waiting for Easton's graphic. We finally got it because I had to call him twice. Come on, where's the email? But no, we are live here on a Wednesday. Going to talk about the Titans and some growing tension between the coaching staff and the front office that is bubbling and is now surfaced after the Titans have a 1-7 record on the year. There are head coaches being fired, players being traded, and now assistant coaches kind of speaking with their chest and blowing some bubbles and kicking ass. And they're almost out of bubble gum. So we're going to have a great show here on this Wednesday talking about this tension and who to blame and why is there tension, where is it coming from, where is it going to go. And then we'll talk more about the contract situation that Easton wrote about on ATOZ earlier in the week about this Titans coaching staff getting contract extensions before in the offseason. So we'll discuss that. We'll talk about some potential retention of some of these coaching staff members. And then we'll end it up with some trivia like we always do on a Wednesday. JT, what's up? Welcome in. Let's get this thing off and roll it.
Yeah, what's up? Good morning, Austin. Good morning, A to Z chat. Good to see all of you guys here on what is an absolutely dismal morning here in Nashville. Yeah. I mean, I woke up and it's pouring rain. It looks we're in fall. All of a sudden, it took 2 seconds. We wanted it, and now it's here, and it's gloomy out. Perfectly representative of what this Titans team is, but good to see all of you guys here in the chat. Good morning, Anthony. Good morning, Katie, Scott, John. Good to see all of you guys here this morning. Daniel Caribbean with a little bit of German there saying Guten Tag. Good to see all of you guys here. Before we get started this morning, because I think we have a lot to say about this coaching staff and what's been going on. Pretty quiet on Twitter yesterday because I was letting these thoughts ruminate and build up in my head in terms of what I wanted to say. We're going to have a good show today. But first, we cannot do that without your help. We need you to like the show, get that like count up. Never enough likes. It does so much help for us, gets it out onto all the algorithms so that it goes out to more Titans fans than just you all here this morning. So do us a favor, hit that like button. And while you're down there, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're subscribed to the A to Z Sports YouTube channel so you never miss any of the content from us here. If you're watching on Facebook, same thing. Hit that like button, like the page, and hit that share button. Share the show with a friend, a Titans fan in your life that wants to talk about the growing tension between the Titans coaches and the front office and this entire organization of dysfunction. And with that, Austin, I think we're ready to get going.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome to the A to Z Sports here, powered as always by the BTA Sports app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is JT Runke. We go live every weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. JT, I debuted this yesterday, and that is we no longer need 5-star Google reviews. We want you to follow us on Google, and I just pasted that link to follow A to Z Sports on Google right there in the chat. So please follow us on Google. Google's changing things. They're becoming more of a social media platform, obviously, because now you can follow the different outlets. So if you want to search for something, you can go to search Titans. We show up as a preferential source because you guys like us, and you'll see our YouTube content, our press conference videos, our social media content, all wrapped into Google. So please follow us on Google right there at that link. Also have to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us and they help out all of you. Like Wilson County Hyundai, make them a part of your new car buying process in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone Joint Institute, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. Botero Carts, life is short, buy a golf cart with 2 locations in the Middle Tennessee area, Columbia and Gallatin. And Window Nation, buy 2 windows. You get 2 windows for free with no payments for 2 years at windownation.com. So, please follow us on Google. JT, you need to follow us on Google. I followed us on Google. Everybody should be following us on Google. Hit the like button, all that stuff, right? So we're here to talk today about the growing tension between the coaching staff and this front office because it is a complete mess. This entire season has gone sideways. We're going to talk a lot about who and why made that happen, who to blame, because Denard Wilson is calling out the front office, and I do think there's only one person to blame. So we're going to hear from Denard Wilson. We're going to hear from the interim coach, Mike McCoy, here in a moment. But, JT, here's another surprise for you. It's a home game coming up, which means the Nashville water taxi is ready for you to get to the game. But for the next home game, which is November 16th against the Texans, we will be giving away 10 free tickets to the Nashville water taxi. So that's $20 round trip for a boat ride to and from the stadium. So you can park at the Nashville water taxi's grounds. They have a tailgate there, and then also a boat ride to and from the stadium so you can avoid downtown traffic and have some fun. You can bring drinks on the boats. You just can't bring drinks off the boats once you're on the stadium grounds. But you can bring a BYO float beer or whatever you choose there. So the NashvilleWaterTaxi.com is where to go if you want to enjoy that for this upcoming game against the Chargers. You absolutely can. But for November 16th against the Texans, we'll be giving away 10 tickets, 5 pair. So you and a friend, you and a buddy, you and your spouse, whoever, significant other, we'll be giving away some tickets there for the Nashville Water Taxi. So we will keep you guys posted on that here in a couple weeks. All right, JT, that's fun. What's not fun is what's happening at the Titans facility because Denard Wilson is not happy. So let's go play Denard Wilson and his reaction to another one of his cornerbacks being traded. This is Denard Wilson, defensive coordinator for the Titans, yesterday after another corner, Roger McCreary, traded on Monday. Here's a not happy Denard.
It's going to be tough. Obviously, we started the season. 3 of our starters that we started out with are no longer, 2 are no longer here, and 1's on IR. So it's hard to replace. We always say next man up. But those are 3 good players that we had that's not lining up. But the young guys are here. We have new additions to the room. We got to get them prepared and get them to play to their best ability, put them in their spots, and hopefully they go out there and make plays.
3 good players. 2 of them are no longer here. 1 of them's on IR. L'Jarius Sneed's on IR. Jarvis Brownlee Jr. is with the New York Jets, taking shots in the locker room post-game at the Titans. Say, hey, what time is it? I don't know if we all saw that yesterday. What time is it? Oh, 4:57. I can go see the Titans lose after the Jets win their first game of the season. And then Roger McCreary, the newest member of the LA Rams, who is going from last place to the playoffs real quick with a trade. So there's Denard Wilson. Let's go ahead and hear from Mike McCoy, who was asked a similar question about the Roger McCreary trade, the interim head coach for the Titans. A little bit of a different tone from the interim head coach than what you saw from the D coordinator.
How do you size up the players that you have to replace Roger with at the nickel?
Well, it just happened. So the coaching staff will talk about, how we want to address this, how we're going to play, who's going to play where, and it's adjustment you have to make. But that's, any other change you make during the week or during the game, you got to look at who does what best. And I think that's something that the defensive staff will look at in the next couple of days and say, okay, here's the changes we need to make to put the players in the right positions and move a couple of guys around, whatever we need to do.
Marcus Harris looked in the brief work he's got.
You love the way he comes out and prepares and plays, the chip on the shoulder he plays with. And you saw his, through training camp and the time that we've had him. Now I've got, to be honest, I got a closer eye on the defense now. When I was on the offense side of the ball, I was worried more, when I was just with the offense, spent a lot more time, but I've watched the guys and watched the whole entire team more, and you see the progress that he's made. And, so I'm excited to see him play.
So there's Mike McCoy on Monday about Marcus Harris, the rookie. So JT, you have any response before we ask our question?
Yeah, listen, Denard is not wrong. And I think it's, once again, a more nuanced conversation that, yes, this is the outcome of what happens when your defense doesn't play good a lot of the time this season. And when you're 1-7, things like this are going to happen. I think the Roger McCreary trade for sure it happens because of this. The Jarvis Brownlee Jr. doesn't exactly when it happens. Week 3? I mean, that was not even a month into the season. It felt like it feels like such a disconnect there between those two coaches, in my opinion. It is Denard Wilson saying what he feels because he is a defensive coordinator from a staff whose head coach got fired. That essentially is just, if we're being honest, playing out the year, right? And with how long this season seems to be, it was fair to get that answer from him right now, considering that, yes, Snead is on IR. The Jarvis Brownlee Jr. trade, from all accounts, seems to be a move made in terms of a culture identity type thing, not a play thing, which hurts Denard Wilson's defense. And then Roger McCreary also gone, which, once again, I'm of the opinion that this front office didn't want Roger McCreary around past this year, and we're not going to re-sign him. This is something that I feel like I have been on even before the season when Mike Borgonzi got here. I believe that was something I was like, Roger McCreary just doesn't feel like it fits the mold here of what they want to do, especially with how many shots they took in UDFA with the cornerbacks and everything like that. They're trying to find a better, fit for the type of player that they want. And then you get to, so those are all the players that are gone off of Denard Wilson's defense, guys who cannot contribute to stopping these big runs, or especially Jarvis Brownlee Jr., one of the best run defending corners this in the league, according to PFF this year. And then you get to Mike McCoy, who is essentially the company front man now, who goes out there, captain coach speak, as I've coined him a lot.
He's Mike McCoward to me.
So Mike McCoward, captain coach speak. It's one and the same, essentially. He goes out there and does what this front office wants him to do. Spews a bunch of coach speak nonsense and believes that everything is going to work out. It's next man up. We're going to get these guys ready. I mean, it's also very funny to see him talk about next man up mentality. And then the next question, so what does that mean for Marcus Harris? And give such a non-answer to that question, being like, nothing about his play style, but this guy's attitude. And I haven't really been able to watch him, but I have watched him now for 2 weeks, because now I'm the head coach, not just an offensive assistant. Like, tells you all you need to know, essentially, about what they think about this next man up without him saying it. So there's a huge disconnect between what these coaches are saying.
Yeah.
Denard Wilson saying what he feels because he's backed into a corner and really has nothing to lose because, like I said, he's on the coaching staff that, for all intents and purposes, is mostly going to get canned. And then Mike McCoy, who's been basically chosen and knighted in by this front office to be the company front man and just keep the ship afloat. It's disconnecting, and it's a mess.
100%. So we're going to get to our question. I have favorited 10 comments from the chat since we played the Denard and Mike McCoy videos there that I'm going to get to, but I do want to go ahead and ask our question so other comments can come in and we can dive into the topic that we had planned, but we will read these 10 comments that I favorited before getting to the answers to the question. But here's the question, JT, if you want to go ahead and throw the question into the chat. That question is, what's the biggest reason why there's tension between the Titans coaching staff and the front office? What's the biggest reason why there is tension between the Titans coaching staff and the front office? Because this thing has bubbled to the surface. It has grown, and now we're seeing it, and there's 9 games left for this coaching staff to ride this thing out with this front office, and the tension is now public. So we'll get to those comments, but JT, first tell us all about our friends at Botero Carts.
Yeah, Botero Carts, life is short. You got to buy a golf cart, and you got to do it when you do it with our friends at Botero Carts. 0% financing for 36 months when you buy your new golf cart, just starting at as little as $6,700. They're open 7 days a week with a full service sale and rental dealership that is locally owned and operated with 2 locations to serve you in Columbia, their new location, in Gallatin, Tennessee, both in the Middle Tennessee area here. When you buy your new golf cart, no dealer fee, no credit card fees, and no hidden fees that are going to sneak up on you when you buy your shiny new golf cart, which is shiny and new because they're all stored indoors for your satisfaction and convenience. And there is also a no credit needed option when you buy your golf cart. Austin, I don't know about you, but the last couple of days when I've been out and about in Nashville, it feels so hard to find street parking. And yet when I go up and down Hillsborough Pike and 21st Avenue and around Vanderbilt and all of those things, I see a bunch of golf carts and these guys just fitting into these spaces that I normally could not get my car in. And it makes me say, damn, I really wish I had a golf cart. And so life is short and we should buy a golf cart and we should do it with our friends over at Botero Carts.
Life is easier with a golf cart. You can add that to the tagline too.
Yes.
BTA Sports, better for bettors. I talked to our guy Tyler from BTA Sports yesterday. How about this? Something that I now know, that the annual subscription that we talked about in September, that deal is still going on. And guess what? If you do that, which is code ATOZ Sports for a 14-day free trial for a $99 deal, you get that for 12 months, not just for the football season, but 12 months. So that means you get into next football season. You get anything else that BTA Sports is going to add on, because they have plans on adding more than just the NFL. They started with the NFL last season. This is their second season doing that, and they're going to continue to grow. So if you do the annual subscription, you're going to get grandfathered into all the extra stuff they're going to continue to add. So that's code ATOZ Sports with the link in the show description on YouTube and in the Facebook title, ATOZ Sports for the annual subscription right there for $99, but you get 2 free weeks for free. And you also can still use the code ATOZ14 to get a 14-day free trial for a weekly subscription for just $9.99 right there with BTA Sports, better for sports better. So I asked the question, we put that in the chat. We'll get to those here in a little bit about what's the biggest reason for the tension between the coaching staff and the front office. But I did favorite all these comments I wanted to get to. Let's go ahead and play Denard Wilson again because it's a short enough clip. Denard Wilson's tension building reaction to another one of his starting players being traded away and having to play the next man up mentality.
It's going to be tough. You know, obviously we started the season, 3 of our starters that we started out with are no longer, 2 are no longer here and 1's on IR. So it's hard to replace. You know, we always say next man up. But, you know, those are 3 good players that we had that's not lining up. But the young guys are here. You know, we have new additions to the room. We got to get them prepared and get them to play to their best ability, put them in their spots, and hopefully they go out there and make plays.
You know, so like, yeah, it's next man up, but at some point, next man up's like me and you,
Doesn't
right?
yeah.
Like it's like, come on, like technically, next man up could be Xavier Restrepo playing slot corner if they keep doing this. But so, all right, these 10 comments that I favorited, then we'll come back to the question again. Tall Texan said that Denard is handcuffed by both hands, the front office and the lack of talent, which I think is, you know, it's fair. There, Justin Millie Mills says, hey, full rebuild. They don't want previous draft class. And we'll get into that because that is a good comment right there. Now, Daniel Caribbean's on the other side of this. The defense sucked anyway, Denard. Now you're just making excuses. And like, I don't think Denard Wilson's making excuses. The cornerback, I think, is one of the premier positions in the NFL. And when you trade away 2 of your top 3 guys and the other third guy is inconsistent and injured, that's putting you in a bad spot. And that's not excuses. That's just flat out reasons. Lori says, do the coaches get no say on trades? Depends.
I think it does.
In this situation, they're not, because this coaching staff in this front office are not playing for the same future. And that is part of the reason why there's tension. Let's see. Mr. Clean says the coaches are trash, though. So what's the point? You know, I like Zach and I talked about on Monday, bad players make good coaches look worse. Good players make good coaches. Drew says, what happened to developing players in-house? That came from Chad, right? Yeah, Chad Brinker said that. Mike Borgonzi said that. But the 2 guys they traded away, and Roger McCreary and Jarvis Brownlee, were not necessarily the draft picks and not the draft picks at all, of Mike Borgonzi, who is the new eye and selector of talent in the office. So Andre says Denard has 0 pieces and they're taking more away than blaming him for the defense looking like trash. So that was a really good way to bring that up. Nick says, does the front office even consult with the coaches before trading starters? Kind of mentioned that in the other one. And then Jack said,
real quick, you just have to go back to Mike McCoy's answer. Like, he said, we wish Roger well. And then the conversation was, how are you going to do this? And Mike McCoy basically says, well, this just came down on our desk. This just got put down on our desk. So we're going to figure it out, you know? So if you need a little inside baseball track into logically thinking if they have any say or not, there you go. Like, no. So.
Right. For sure. And then the last one here, Jack says, I have 0 respect for their complaints. If they were competent in their jobs, they'd never be in this situation. Now, I disagree with that strongly.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way for me to believe Denard Wilson. Like, I don't think there's any defensive coordinator that could make Arden Key or Draymond Jones or any of these guys better than they are, which is rotational edge threes. Like, there's no defensive coordinator out there in my mind that is going to take a rotational guy like that to the level of a dominant pass rusher, right? Like, you can look at not Vance Joseph, but Brian Flores in Minnesota. Like, they don't have like amazing, but they still do have like an X factor in Dallas Turner and Jonathan Grenard. And like, they have guys who essentially like have that type of edge one talent. They have linebackers who have like starting green dot level caliber guys. It's hard for me to say that with what Mike Borgonzi and Chad Branker in this front office brought in for Denard, it's hard for me to believe that any defensive coordinator could have taken these guys to a level that they aren't, because they just this is the top of their ceiling. They are like Draymond Jones getting 3 sacks in 3 games in the middle of a season is his ceiling. Like, there's no more than that, right? He's a rotational guy who's going to get 5-ish sacks in a season. He's going to have string together 3 games like this and then disappear again, because that's what he is. He's an edge 3 or 4. So I have a hard time believing Denard Wilson can do anything more than that.
Well, so we asked the question. We're about to get into this now. What's the biggest reason why there's tension between the Titans coaching staff and the front office? Garrett, I think he sent this comment in as the chat, as the question was being asked. Denard has gotten the shortest end of the stick I've ever seen for a coach. And I don't know if it's for I've ever seen, maybe Garrett's ever seen, but it's been that way the majority of his 2 years, right? Yeah. Because they trade away Ernest Jones in the middle of last season, and you saw the defense fall off the cliff. Snead gets hurt. A lot of guys kind of get hurt throughout that year.
Quandre Diggs gets hurt.
Quandre Diggs breaks his foot, right? And that changed the defense. That was kind of similar timing to Ernest Jones trade last year, if I remember correctly. Just being a victim of the Will Levis turnovers and the Colt Anderson special teams, right? And then now this year, the victim of the Cam Ward turnovers, the Tony Pollard fumbles, some other stuff that has really put them in a situation. Jeff now is hurt. They invested, like, what is the biggest investment in free agency minus L'Jarius Sneed for this defense in the last 2 offseasons?
It is
2 bad inside linebackers.
Yeah, it's Cody Barton and
then Kenneth Murray before that.
And Kenneth Murray. And they've turned out essentially the same.
I think Cody Barton's better than Kenneth Murray.
I mean, listen, maybe that's me being a hater a little bit, but like, I mean, he's barely an upgrade.
What's the difference is the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So now let's get to this. What's the biggest reason why there's tension between the Titans coaching staff and the front office? I'm at the top of the comment, so I'll read where this is coming from. So Dre says, no trust from the coaching staff through the front office. I think that's a fair one. Tall Texan says lack of talent and leadership. That's a fair one. Roger just says Bud's daughter. This is a fair one. Chad Brinker. Again, that's 4 different answers, all fair. Let's add a 5th to it. IR, job security. So there's 5 super fair answers. Donald says, I believe this is Donald, because the coaches know their time is running out and the bell is about to toll. Excuse my French. I'm not going to show Andre's comment because he just dropped a big all caps F-bomb in there. So Raymond just says losing, duh. I don't think it's just losing. It's not just losing, obviously. Coaches always want to win. The front office is in strategic tank mode is a fair comment there. Cutting starters without an in-season plan and replacement, absolutely. Corey says losing causes friction, period. Yes, but there's a way to this front office is not trying to mend it in the coaching staff versus front office ways. Charmin says lack of communication and discipline from upper management down. Jeff says because the front office is incompetent and not listening. Skill will. No stability, but the NFL stands for not for long. Chad Stinker is that one. So, JT, do you want to give your answer?
Yeah, I mean, it is basically like what let me see if I can find that. It was one of the first 3. It is the fact that they know that they're done, essentially, right? Most of them. It is the fact that you bring up that strategic tanking versus wanting to win and put stuff on paper, because Denard Wilson and Nick Holtz and a lot of these position coaches are essentially putting out tape and more on their resume to go find their next job when they do, because when they get canned at the end of the season, they're going to be looking for different jobs. And in Denard's case, it's hard for him to potentially want to go find another defensive coordinator or another position adjacent to that in the NFL when the resume he's putting out continues to be kind of tarnished by getting rid of all the players on his defense. And he can't display what he wants to do because he doesn't have the type of players he needs to show what he can do on a defense and with a scheme. And so that's just one point. You go to the offensive side of the ball, right? You don't have a lot of things here, especially if you trade away a Chigakonkwo or anything like that for the tight ends coach or the wide receiver coach. These guys are all, when you fire the head coach, 9 times out of 10, the coaches kind of set their eyes to their next job. This job is done. They know they're out after this season. It's hard to concentrate on a team that fires their head coach 6 weeks into the season and not think about, well, I'm not going to be here next year, so might as well begin to think about my future. And unfortunately, that comes at the cost of your football team, and it continues to lose, and things continue to spiral out of place as the coaches. And the more you lose, the more they then begin to even think further about their jobs after this, right? And so that's the big disconnect for me, and that's the big tension, right? It's a team, it's a front office who wants, like that comment said, to strategically tank and kind of strip it all down to the bones to find out what they want to build around. And the guys that they have coaching, those guys they want to build around, kind of don't care because they're not going to be here.
Yeah, and that's where I was going to go next. Eric says that it's a full rebuild. Does he not understand that? And that's where I'm gonna pause and finish out the title, because the title of today's show is Titans coach calls out his front office, and there's only one person to blame. I will tell you who I'm blaming here in a moment. But JT, tell everybody about the Bone and Joint Institute.
Yeah, the Bone and Joint Institute, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedics and sports medicine. Don't fumble on your recovery when you do get hurt in life. You got to know who to trust. And that's why we trust the Bone and Joint Institute, which is located in Franklin, right off of 65, with over a dozen specialists who can help you through any type of injury. They have a state-of-the-art rehab facility on campus to help your recovery, and they can do everything under one roof for your convenience. That's clinic, testing, imaging, surgery, and rehab. They also have many satellite locations all over the Middle Tennessee area to help your recovery. To schedule your appointment, go to boneandjointtn.org.
BTA Sports, better for bettors, the models, the predictions, the overs, the unders, the spreads, the player props. They've got all the what's your risk analysis on your sports bets to help you become a better, smarter sports bettor and fantasy football player. There's two options for you. You can get a weekly subscription or an annual subscription. Annual means 12 months. It means if you sign up now, then you get it through October 29th of 2026. And that's just $99. If you want a weekly subscription, it's just $9.99. You can get 14 free days for either of those options, however you want to do it, by using our codes. If you want the weekly subscription for $9.99, that code is ATOZ14. If you want the full annual 12-month subscription for $99, that code is ATOZ Sports. ATOZ Sports. You can do that by clicking the link. It'll help you out, get you where you need to go in the Facebook title and the YouTube description. BTA Sports, better for bettors. Okay, so where to place blame? Is Amy Adams Strunk? Because as Eric's comment that I read before the tease there is, this is a full rebuild. Does Denard Wilson not understand that? No, Denard Wilson does understand that. That was established when Rand Carthon was fired, Chad Brinker was promoted, Mike Borgonzi was hired, Brian Callahan and the coaching staff was retained, and then several of them got contract extensions to not go into the season in a full rebuild with a lame duck expiring contract. Because the plan was a full rebuild. It was discussed the entire offseason before Cam Ward was drafted and after Cam Ward was drafted. Denard Wilson, this is now me speculating. I'm assuming a little bit of common sense here that Denard Wilson knows that he has got the short end of the stick. This is about Cam Ward. It's about the offense. It's about defining that. And Eric, I'm not throwing shade at you. You kind of set me up on this. So I appreciate the tee up. But it's about the offense getting going. It is the defense is the secondary, out of sight, out of mind. Denard will take care of you later. We got to get the offense right. We got to get Cam right. We got to focus on that. Your time is coming. We'll give you a Cody Barton journeyman guy. We'll, give you some of these.
Give you Xavier Woods on the back end.
Yeah. Give you some veterans that know what to do, that aren't just going to have a bunch of mental errors and miss assignments, right? Because we're good, right? We're good. That was the plan. And then Amy blew it all up after losing to the Raiders in week 6. And so now Denard's like, okay, you trade away Brownlee. Love that guy. Now you trade away Roger. I get it, right? Like, if Denard was a part of next season, then he would understand trading away Roger, because he would reap the benefits of the 11 or whatever draft picks are going to have next year and developing and retaining. But he's not getting that opportunity. So now Denard Wilson's getting hung out to dry. And the rest of the coaching staff is getting hung out to dry when that was not the plan. They've had the rug pulled out from underneath them by their owner. Now, she's going to have to pay for those contracts that Easton wrote about that were extended. Now, there's some offset language in there of if they get a new job, then that money is no longer owed to them. I don't know what the specifics are. Does Denard Wilson, can he get a defensive backs position job and that offset language kick in? Or does it have to be an equal job? I don't know. Because right now, I doubt it that Denard's going to get one of the however many D coordinator jobs that are going to be open after the season. He's probably going to have to go down a peg to get back up. Same thing with everybody else involved. Maybe some of the current position coaches can stay a position coach because there's really no down for these veteran position coaches. But Nick Holtz is not going to be an OC for a bit, right? We know that. And so that's the situation they're in. Denard is getting screwed because, hey, we'll get you next time. Like, next offseason is yours. Like, let's get Cam going. Let's get some of this built, and then we'll get you your corners. We'll get you your pass rusher next year. We'll build around Jeff. We're not trading Jeff. Don't worry about that. But so Denard's getting screwed, and he's continued to get screwed now 2 years in a row. So Amy is the person to blame for this. It's not Chad. It's not Brinker. Those guys are doing their jobs. I'm sorry, not Borgonzi. I said Chad Breaker. Mike Borgonzi's job is to be the eye for talent to select the next group of players that are going to be here for multiple seasons. And he is doing that job. And trading away Roger McCreary is part of doing that job. The Jarvis Brownlee thing is eye of the beholder. It's subjective depending on who you are, what your defensive philosophy is. But that was made with Borgonzi's best interest for the team in mind, long term. But Amy Adams Strunk firing Callahan so quickly and then hanging Denard out to dry is hurting his future. And he knows that. And he's pissed. And he has every right to be pissed.
Yeah. And so, you didn't give me your answer before the show in terms of who was the one person that was going to blame. But I'm glad to see that we
figured it out.
Yeah, we probably could have figured it out because that's who I also am blaming here. And it comes down to with Amy Adams Strunk, and this is nothing new, but you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And she played a very stupid game in terms of kind of chopping the head off of this team early into the season. And then you get these things, right? You get an embarrassing quote from your defensive coordinator saying like, well, yep, it's kind of what it is. Like nothing we can do about it. Like we don't have the talent. At some point, it doesn't work out, right? You get this dysfunction. You get this disconnect and this tension, right? Because you played a stupid game. And once again, to reiterate, fired Brian Callahan correctly, but at a very inopportune time for this team and what they wanted to do in this season, what they could have done in terms of developing your young guys. And so that's where I kind of end on it as well. The person to blame is absolutely Amy Adams Strunk for kind of prematurely pulling the trigger here, because this is the fallout. And I don't know about you, but in whatever embarrassment she thought she was saving herself by doing it then, I feel like the blowback has created that much more for her.
Yeah. And because when things were very clear early that the fan base was over Brian Callahan and that things were getting toxic and the product was bad on the field, I was like, Amy has a card in her back pocket of firing Callahan to buy her some fan equity. And it was the opposite, I feel like. It kind of blew up in her face. It should have been Amy made the decision because she heard the fans yelling that they were over the Brian Callahan experiment. And now it just points more at her just being dysfunctional. And so I think if there's a second person to blame, I'm blaming Brian Callahan.
Yeah.
Because his lack of in-game management made him fireable way earlier than it should have. Because the preaching from the front office guys that's the worst case scenario is firing Callahan in season to, because they want to see the management stuff. And so I think Amy's number one to blame, Brian Callahan's second to blame, because if some of these in-game stuff weren't happening, then maybe Brian Callahan, if the offense is still struggling and people are still trying to figure things out and Cam's still going through his ups and downs that are expected, then that's okay. But the head coach made himself the story in 2 of the first 3 games, and then he had to give up play calling, and it just didn't get any better, and it got worse. So that's, I think that's the second person to blame after Amy is the fired head coach.
Yeah, I mean, just do your job a little bit better and buy you some time. And I saw this comment here from going back up, trying to find it. Andre says it's because she did it in a knee-jerk way and threw her guys into the line of fire, right? It's like, why aren't the fans happy? I did what they asked me to do, but not like this. Like, no, we wanted it a different way. Like the way you did it is still just not great and it does not give you any of that good grace because you kind of took your card, played it at the most inopportune time.
Yeah. And so, hold on a second. So Adrian says Callahan is to blame. He forced Amy's hand. It was a no-win for Amy either way. So let's just go back. Because I think the majority of people were caught off guard by Callahan getting fired the Monday after the Raiders loss. Because what happened in that Raiders game? Cam Ward had 3 bad turnovers that put up 10 points on the Raiders board and took points off the Titans board. That's not a Brian Callahan thing. That's a rookie quarterback turning the ball over because he's a rookie quarterback playing in his 6th game. Now it's a stacking of things that, and it's she fired him that Monday because she had a bunch of people in Vegas in a suite watch their team get embarrassed by another terrible team. So there was nothing about that game that should have been Brian Callahan's firing. That was not his demise. It was the quarterback is looking bad again, and I can't continue to have that.
Yeah. It is funny though.
And then Wild Bill adds, and it was the Monday before the Vrabel game coming to town. So it's that parlay of stuff, right? That's not all Callahan's doing for the timing aspect of it.
Yeah. How dare Brian Callahan make Cam Ward fumble a ball backwards in front of my family? How dare he?
Or fumble on the 2-yard line.
Yes.
And give the Raiders their really first successful drive of the game.
Yeah, it is a lose-lose situation, no matter what. Anyway, you put it, this was going to happen. Unfortunately, after those first 3 weeks, I don't want to go back and say this was going to happen and say that it was going to happen before the season, because we had the exact opposite conversation. Austin, you said it would take an unmitigated disaster that we thought could not have happened, and then 3 games into the season, it was an unmitigated disaster.
Yeah.
And so after that, you kind of get here, and it's a lose-lose situation, and that's where you get into now 9 weeks of I have a feeling of a lot more conversation like this, in which at what point will we get to a point where, because of what they did so early, hurts the young guys' development because of how checked out people on the staff might be?
Yes. And then
that's a fair question to ask.
And I was thinking about this the other day, and I'm using Xavier Woods as an example. I don't know Xavier Woods personally. I don't know his makeup, but I'm just thinking players in Xavier Woods' situation who are dealing with a soft tissue injury in the middle of October, end of October, going into the second half of the season, the team is miserable. What are you pushing for? What is that veteran guy who is a journeyman player who is injured? What is he fighting to get back for? What's his motivation? Because the coach is fired, the staff is pissed off because they're about to get fired. So is he what is that individual player working their butt off for in the recovery room, trying to get back to play in week 14 when you're 2-11?
Curtis says a game day check, which
sure. And money's always something. I get that. In reputation, there's those answers. Yes. Money, reputation, pride, your own morals, all these things are valid answers. But for what?
Yeah.
For who? It's for yourself, but then you're also, if you're Xavier Woods, am I going to get back out there and have a bad defense in front of me to make me look bad as a safety? Because somebody said bad, or to put tape out there. Tape for next season? That might be bad tape. Especially if you're fighting back from an injury and maybe you lost some conditioning or some strength or some explosiveness. I don't want to put that out there. There's also a smart move to say, you know what, shut it down, because I don't want to put 80% of myself out there on a bad defense for my next contract, for my next job. So I'm good. There's so many situations like that because the coach was fired after week 6.
And I think there's a few other guys that you can say that for, as much as like Sebastian Joseph Day has been great and is a good locker room guy. I imagine, he's a guy on a 1-year contract that may be looking for a new job somewhere else next season. You look at, Draymond Jones obviously may end up getting traded here for a penny or so.
I think it's the injured. It's the guys who get hurt, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not the healthy guys are healthy and they're out. It's the guys that are hurt, or maybe on what the difference of being hurt versus being injured. Maybe they're hurt, but they're like, you know what? Nope, I'm injured. I'm out.
Yeah,
I don't want to play through this injury that's hampering me a little bit. It's going to make me look worse than I actually am.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
The tape doesn't care that you're hurt.
Yes, that's fair. I think, yeah. So the guys that you could realistically probably say that about is like the Xavier Woods.
Yeah, and again, like, I'm not saying that's Xavier Woods.
Like Calvin Ridley, maybe. Like, is Ridley really like?
I think because of his contract, he's in a different situation. I think it's more the defensive guys that kind of in this spot. And Arden Key is kind of in the spot too, right? Because he is battling that injury. Like, what's the extra juice that he wants to put up there in the training room if you're just going to go out there and look bad because everything else is bad? It's a tough spot for those type of players because they have to look out for themselves, right? Just like Denard's talking out for himself because he wants it. Denard in a new job interview wants to be able to point back to October 28th and say, look, I told you. I told him I can only go next man up so many times before it's making me look bad. And we got to get these young guys ready, see if they make some plays. But I don't know. Like, there's all those things. So, any other thoughts on that before we move on to our next level?
No, I mean, that's where we are. And it, like you said to kick off the show, we got 9 more weeks of this. And I don't want to say that it can't get worse, but I think it can. Like, I want to say it can't get worse, but I think it does get worse.
Absolutely. All right. So Easton put out the story Monday night. The Titans coaching staff got extensions to their contracts in the offseason. What was your reaction to that? And I'm just going to leave it open-ended. What's your reaction to the Titans coaching staff getting those contract extensions in the offseason before this upcoming year? We'll do that and get to your comments here in a moment. But first, we'll tell you guys about our friends at Window Nation. Buy 2 windows, you get 2 windows free, and you don't have to make a payment for up to 2 years. You can save thousands of dollars, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and get top-of-the-line windows or any other better windows than you currently have with windownation.com. You go to the website, windownation.com. You try to get a free estimate. They come over to your house. They do a great presentation. They show you what windows you currently have, what that is doing to your AC and your heating bill. Are you losing money? Is it equal? Is it a negative? Mine are negative because we have metal windows. So if it's cold outside, windows are cold. If it's hot outside, windows are hot, which means my temperature in my house is changing based on the outside. But we're getting the triple line silver windows coming to our house next month with Window Nation. We took advantage of the deal. Buy 2 windows, you get 2 windows free, and so many different ways of finance, but you don't have to make a single payment for up to 2 years. They can take care of you so many different ways. They've done that for us. So excited about it. Even the guys, our project manager that came back for the official measurements of the windows, great guy, great experience all the way around for all 3 people that we've had from Window Nation at our home, and they've helped us out tremendously with this. So online at windownation.com.
Yeah, also shout out to our friends over at BTA Sports. Once again, got that deal as well. You can either do the, I believe, right, ATOZ 14 for the free 14-day free trial, and then you can get the $99 season pass for 12 months or the weekly subscription of $9.99. BTA, better for betters. Listen, if you used them last week, we got back on the right side of things. Obviously, it may not reflect in our picks between me and Easton because that is just a gauntlet of misery currently right now having to do that. But in my own personal life, they had the Eagles absolutely beating the crap out of the Giants on there when all the sharps were on the Giants, myself included for that one.
So you
My
went
dad-
against BTA on that one.
Yeah, so I went against BTA, but my dad comes back and says, thank God I used BTA there, because he saw them. He's like, I made a bunch of money today. I said, that's great for you, Dad. And that's what BTA. If you have an opinion on one of these games and need that extra oomph to get over the hill and say, hey, this is a bet that I feel really strongly about, let's do it BTA. And if they kind of confirm what you are believing, it's when you go all in. If they don't, maybe you sit there and you think about it. That's why BTA is so good, using their analytically driven data to help back some picks for you guys. Once again, use that code ATOZ14 when you download the app for a free 14-day free trial, where insight meets instinct with BTA Sports.
All right, so we asked the question, what's your reaction to the Titans coaching staff getting contract extensions in the off season after going 3-13? So I'm trying to scroll to the top of these comments, and we've had a lot of them, so it's taken me a lot longer than I had expected that. So let's see. Sorry, guys, this is great.
I mean, I'll go with mine first.
Okay.
Here.
Well, hold on, I'm almost there.
Okay.
I got lost. I'm sorry. Terrible.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, the comments jumped on me. They really did.
Morning.
All right. Okay, Yuri. Getting contract extensions after 3-14 season is ridiculous itself. Amy loves to throw away money. Hell, throw some my way. I go and lose games like people she's paying for a lot less money. Jeff says Titans are making European relegation method look better and better on that one. DeJair says 3-14 is optimistic. I'm not expected to win another game this year. James says, I think the extensions were a way of saying feel safe about your job. We're in a rebuild, like Wilson is showing his concerns with the front office trading everyone away.
And that's where I am with mine right there, essentially, right? It is, I'm not like, oh my God, how dumb can you be giving them an extension? Like, that is a common practice, and that makes sense for where they were at the time. But then to go 6 games into the next season and kind of like go back on that as well, I think that's where I get like, it's kind of dysfunctional and a laughing stock to me, is like, you did this, that's fine. I'm not making fun of you for doing that. However, you kind of waited 6 games to then go back on that decision. Yep. And that's what is the crazy thing to me. And that's what makes it laughable and makes this look so dysfunctional. It's the NFL. It happens every year. I understand, but it only happens like this here. Like, the way things play out only happens here. And that's what is so funny.
Barbecue Bob says the biggest reason there's tension is that they kept the lame duck coaching staff employed, and everyone would be happier if they fired them at the end of last season. And another thing that I know I said when the decision was being made on, do you fire Rand Carthon and Brian Callahan together, fire one or the other? My take back in January was, if you're going to keep Brian Callahan after firing Rand Carthon, you got to commit to him for more than one more season. Because of understanding what Barbecue Bob's saying, the lame duck coaching staff, if this was going to be the result, which in hindsight's 2020, all that kind of stuff, right? But we talked about this though. Like that's what's frustrating about this, is because yes, hindsight's 2020, just like Mike McCoward said about punting on 4th and 3 on Sunday, that they regretted it because they ran 80 yards the other way back for a touchdown on the first play. But we had this conversation in January about this outcome has to be avoided.
Yes.
Because if you're going to draft a quarterback number 1, you have to understand what you're getting yourself into, and you have to be patient. And that's what they said for 9 months. And then 6 games in, it all changed.
Yeah. Look,
and I think, so my take on the contract part is, this is another, in my opinion, another piece of evidence in the case to prove that Chad Brinker and Mike Borgonzi did not want to fire Brian Callahan in season. That was a thing that a demand that an instruction that came down from Amy Adams Strunk in Houston on that Monday was do it now, because the contracts were given to have them, and a lot of that is standard protocol from the NFL, is you don't want a coaching staff or coaches all that often to be on a contract year, especially a head coach. That's how the Mike McCarthy situation played out in Dallas with Jerry Jones, and he walked and called their bluff. Now, was it smart on McCarthy's end or not? That's yet to be determined. But you want to give them some stability to have them go coach freely. But now you've got Denard Wilson knowing he's done, and the rest of the coaching staff knowing they're done with 3 months to go. And it's just a bad situation. And we talked about avoiding it so early.
Yeah. And here we are. Listen, the bye week is almost upon us, and that'll be a good, maybe breath of fresh air for that week. But I can't see this getting any better, right? Like now, even with that, right? With the way they've gone, you look at their opponents that they're playing the next couple of weeks. You look at against the Chargers, against the Texans, against the Seahawks. Like those are 3 games where if you got destroyed by the Texans before, and you got destroyed by the Raiders, and you got destroyed by the Colts, guess what's going to happen in these 3 games? Like they're going to get destroyed, and it's going to get it's at some point. Like if Denard Wilson is saying that now, and we see 3 more weeks of blowouts, like what's going to be the conversation after that? That's what I'm afraid of, because I at this point I have no idea what could happen. So,
yeah. I saw a comment in a couple comments. The Jer Levis under Vrabel looked way better than Callahan, and then continued, said Cam and Levis looked the same under Callahan. Will Levis under Mike Vrabel had Derrick Henry and healthy DeAndre Hopkins. It's a big difference.
Like the last good season of DeAndre Hopkins.
Well, because his last 5 games before he was traded to the Chiefs last season, we forget he was out all of training camp with a torn MCL.
Mm-hmm.
So he was rehabbing in California to got back early, but still wasn't ready. And you could tell. With Will Levis, he was healthy. He didn't have a torn MCL in August. So Derrick Henry is a big part of that. Every quarterback's life is easier when they have a running threat that's not them.
Yeah.
So
you go back like that last 48 game conversation. I think we look back at it very differently with where this team was.
Vrabel's last 24 games, 6-18. 24 games post Vrabel. It's now 4-21 after the Colts game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Vrabel was 2 wins better than Brian Callahan / Mike McCoy. And Vrabel had Derrick Henry for all 24 of those. Well, some of them he might have been out or whatever, but he had Derrick Henry in those seasons.
Yep. Crazy.
And yeah, MB says, Austin, not just a running threat, a Hall of Famer. Yeah, a Hall of Fame running back next to a young quarterback or anybody makes him better.
Exactly.
How many touchdowns did Hop have prior to Levis becoming QB1? 0 that first year. Yeah, that's an accurate statement. Ryan Tannehill was seeing ghosts. Malik Willis couldn't throw. Facts and facts like that. And then Levis came in, was playing free, kind of had a little Jackson Dart energy of just not knowing any better, going out there and slinging it, and it worked.
Yep.
It worked twice. They won 2 games with Will Levis as a rookie. Like the Atlanta Falcons game makes everything seem so much bigger and better than it actually was.
Was the Miami game?
That too.
Was the Miami game Cam's Cardinal game? Like, are those basically the same thing? Improbable win.
I mean, maybe, but I feel
At
like
that-
the Dolphins
to come back.
I don't think the Dolphins didn't egregiously hand over opportunities like the Cardinals did. That was
I guess
crazy.
so. I maybe more so is like the Cardinals game by halftime they were pretty much out of it. Everybody gave up. The Dolphins game they were 10-point underdogs on prime time, and like everyone gave up on them before the game even started.
Yeah,
So.
for sure. Right. All right, let's go ahead and get to some trivia real quick. Before trivia, tell you guys about Barton Drury Insurance Group. BartonDrury.com is the website, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. They will take care of you, whatever that is. If it's your personal health coverage, your home or auto, your rental, umbrella policies. If you want to plan financially long-term, they have 401k planning in their portfolio as well. They will help you out. They're local to the mid-states, so you can deal with them personally and not have to go deal with the national, whoever the heck, big companies that are just going to make it tough on you. So check them out online at bartondrury.com. Time for some trivia. Shout out to our friends at Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process. You can see them in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Payne Bone does a great job running the show there, and he will help you save some cash on that new ride. wilsoncountyhyundai.com is the website. So let's see if I can do this smoothly, JT, for a little trivia time for the first time this week. Sharing my screen now. Here we go. Maybe.
Well, I thought I was going to do well there, but then
Uh,
it's all right.
no Jack-
4.5.
Yeah,
I would like this number to change, but we failed, so it stays.
Yeah.
And I've not seen Ann, so this is a problem. We have a problem this morning.
I think a new rule, JT. Whenever I'm sharing my screen, wait another 5 seconds for the graph.
Okay. Yeah.
Because for whatever reason, there's a weird delay on mine. So, all right.
Need your help today. No Ann. So
Somebody
we're
send
gonna
out the bat signal for Ann.
Yeah. Lock in, like the show as well, everyone.
Yeah, like the show. Thanks. Okay, we ready
Follow
to get
us
started?
on Google as well.
Yeah,
Whatever.
follow us on Google. Hell yeah. Okay, NFL.
Yep.
This Packers outside linebacker totaled 83.5 sacks, made 6 Pro Bowls from 09 to 18. Got to be Clay Matthews.
Yeah.
All right, history. In 1929, there was a fire in the West Wing of the White House while this man was a U.S. president. Hoover? 1929?
Or was he afterwards? Did he come right after? Any history buffs who know your presidents? Let's
Brad
go.
says Hoover.
Let's rip it.
Herbert Hoover?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whew.
Okay.
TV. With David Fincher as frequent director, this cult favorite Netflix show ran from 2017 to 2019 and followed the founding of the behavioral science unit on the FBI.
Ooh, I do not know.
Cult favorite Netflix show, 2017 to 2019, behavioral science unit of the FBI. Is that not like Mindhunter?
Sure. I think it's one word.
Okay, got it. Movies.
Cool.
While he gained fame as a musician, this man directed horror films in the 2000s like House of a Thousand Corpses, The Devil's Rejects, and Halloween Reboot. I don't know.
No idea. Famous as a musician turned director?
Yeah.
Rob Zombie?
Rob Zombie?
That makes sense.
Who's Rob Zombie? You can don't worry about it. Let's see. This is music. You got to feel that heat. We can ride the boogie. Share the beat of love. Are lyrics from this 1979 Michael Jackson song.
Is that Rock With You?
I don't know.
Maybe. Any Michael Jackson fans in the chat?
Yeah,
Rock
yeah,
With
you're
You.
right.
Cool.
I feel like I read that so horribly that it didn't make any sense. Beverages. This soda brand is currently doing a cross promotion with the candy brand Trolley, where there are trolley versions of their soda and vice versa.
Oh, I feel like this has got to be like Mountain Dew or something. Like I don't know if
Mountain Dew is getting
that makes the most sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
College basketball. Carlos Boozer played at this school from 99 to 02. Duke.
Glad you know that. All right.
MLB in the 18 World Series, the Dodgers won an 18-inning game against this team.
It's the Red Sox.
You know what? I know who sang the national anthem on that one.
Really?
Brad Paisley.
All right.
Alec Baldwin.
Yep. And
that is what's its face actor. Crap. He's got 3 names.
3 names.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Yep.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Boom.
Bang. Hey.
All right.
Huge start to the week there.
335.
And couldn't have helped us because there was no women in the celebrity mashup. So she gets a pass today.
That's true.
That's for us.
How about you like the Brad Paisley drop there?
What?
Do you like the Brad Paisley drop there?
Oh no. I didn't hear it.
He sang the national anthem in that 18-inning game.
Oh, really?
In whatever year that was. And he also sang the national anthem in the 18-inning game 2 days ago.
No, really?
Yes.
That's crazy. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well,
yeah.
Hey, that might be the last time he gets last time he gets a national anthem spot in a World Series game.
Well, there's a stat going around that Brad Paisley has sang the national anthem 4 times before a World Series game. All of them have gone extra innings.
As I think this is Bearded Kuno says, all 4. That's crazy. 18, 11, 10, then 18 again. Crazy.
Yeah. So I heard that this morning, which did not help us in trivia, but I knew it. So whatever.
Yeah, I got a few.
I'll take it. Yeah.
I helped. So
yeah, I think that was a good team effort. Chat did some. I had Duke. I had the the celebrity mashup. You had the baseball. There was a couple.
Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew was big. I think
Orlando's right though. Easton tomorrow. 5 minutes incoming. Probably good. Whatever that line's gonna be like. That line's gonna be 4 flat or like 359 tomorrow. You take the over on that one. I guarantee you.
Yeah. Orlando book. We'll have to adjust. So. All right, guys, that is it for us. Make sure you hit that like button, like the show, and we will see you guys tomorrow on a Thursday Buck Rising Live tonight for A to Z Sports Prime Time at 7. Catch you guys later. Appreciate it as always.